Welcome to Session 4, International Parity Conditions. The session goal and the module goal for today is students are able to understand international parity conditions and to understand how international arbitrage works. So the learning outcomes for today is to explain the interest rate parity theory and its implications for exchange rate changes. Second, to explain the purchasing power parity theory and its implications for exchange rate changes. Let's discuss interest rate parity. This is the outline. First, IRP. Second, why IRP holds. Third, covered interest arbitrage or CIA. Fourth, IRP and exchange rate determinations. Fifth, uncovered CIA or currency carry trade. So this is IRP example. Suppose you have 10,000 euro. The spot rate today is $1.5 per pound and $1.2 per euro. And the interest rate in euro area is 5%. Meanwhile, the interest rate in British is 15.5%. You have two alternatives. First, invest in euro, or second, invest in UK. So let's have a look at the first alternative. You invest in euro. If you invest in euro, you are going to receive 10,500 euro in 1 year. You get this number by multiplying 10,000 euro today with 5% interest rate. The second alternative is investing in UK. So when you want to invest in the UK, you have to convert your euro into pound. So next, you have to find the cross rate between pound and euro. So the pound is 0.80 per euro. So in 1 year, you are going to receive 9,240 pounds. So IRP says that the forward rate must be, you have to divide that 9,240 pounds with 10,500 euro. So the forward rate should be 0.88 pound per euro. If you convert back the 9,240 pound to euro, then you receive 10,500 euro if you use that forward rate. So this is what IRP is about. When IRP doesn't hold, the situation leads to covered interest arbitrage opportunities. So this is an example of CIA. So this is the interest rate in the US and in the British country, 5% and 8%. The spot rate today is $1.8 per pound and the forward rate is $1.78 per pound. Assume you can borrow up to $1 million or 555,556 pounds using the spot rate. So the question is IRP holding? Let's have a look. First, you have to check if IRP is holding or not by using this formula. So 1 point interest rate in the US is equal to forward rate divided by spot rate multiplied with 1 plus interest rate in the UK. So we have the information provided, so apply those numbers to this formula and you're going to have 1.05 equal 1.068. So what do you think? IRP is not holding. That means a profitable arbitrage opportunity exists. Since interest rate in the US is lower than interest rate in the UK, that means you have to borrow in the US and invest in the UK. So this is the step. First, you borrow 1 million in the US and your repayment in 1 year will be $1.50,000. And then after you have the money, that $1 million, you have to convert it to pound by buying pound using spot rate. So you are going to have 555,556 pounds. Then you can invest that amount in the UK and receive £600,000 in 1 year. And then you have to convert it back to dollar by selling pound using the forward rate, which is 1.78. So you are going to have $1.068,000. Then in the end you have to pay back the borrowing and your profit is $18,000. So these situations depicts that IRP is not holding because you can gain a profit. So how long will this arbitrage opportunity last? So if you have the steps before, so the effect of each step is, for the first step, the interest rate in the US will increase because everyone borrowing from the US. The second, by buying pound, the value of pound will increase in the spot market. And then when you invest in the third step, the interest rate in the UK will decrease because everyone trying to invest in the UK. And the effect for the fourth step, when you convert your pound to dollar by selling pound, the value of pound will decrease in the forward market. In the end, IRP is going to be restored. So IRP and exchange rate determination. So 1 plus interest rate in the US is equal to the forward divided by the spot multiplied by 1 plus interest rate in the UK. So you can write the formula as in the slide. Uncovered CIA. Unlike IRP, uncovered IRP, the oven doesn't hold. It leads to uncovered interest arbitrage opportunity using currency carry trade. Purchasing power parity. Price and exchange rate. If the identical product or service can be sold in two different markets, no restrictions exist on the sale and transportation costs of moving the product between the markets are equal, then the product's price should be the same in both markets. So this is called the law of one price. A primary principle of competitive market is that prices will equalize across markets if frictions do not exist. So the price of a product in dollar multiply the spot rate of yen per dollar is equal to the price of the product in yen. So the law of one price is related to the Big Mac index. It serves as one form of for comparison of whether currency are currently trading at market rates that are close to the exchange rate implied by the Big Macs in local currencies. So the index works by dividing the local price of a Big Mac by the US price of a Big Mac. This gives the PPP exchange rate. So this is an example for a Big Mac. So this is the end of the sessions, and we have two questions that you have to answer. First, if an identical product can be sold in two different markets and no restriction exists on the sale or transportation of product between markets, the product's price should be the same in both markets. So this is known as A, relative purchasing power parity, B, interest rate parity, C, the law of one price, D, equilibrium. Second, the economists publish annual the Big Mac Index by which they compare the prices of the McDonald's Corporation's Big Mac hamburger around the world. The index estimates the exchange rate for currencies based on the assumption that the burgers in question are the same across the world and therefore the price should be the same. If a Big Mac costs $2.54 in the United States and 294 yen in Japan, what is the estimated exchange rate of yen per dollar as hypothesized by the hamburger index? A, $0.0086 per yen, B, 124 yen per dollar, C, $0.0081 per yen, D, 115 yen per dollar. This is the end. Thank you.